And
we're ready.
hello, everyone. Welcome to the Church of Infinite Spirit. It's so nice to see you all here today. My name is Reverend Jamie Endriss. And if you're new to this church, please know that we're very glad you're here and we welcome you. And to all our friends who have been here before, it's great to have you back too. Welcome, everyone. Our community has been meeting in Denver in person since 1999. And of course, right now we're meeting by Zoom. We will be excited to return to services in person when the time is right. I think most people are pretty familiar with Zoom by now, but just a couple of reminders. If you're on a computer, most of your options are at the bottom of the window. Just mouse over them and they should appear. We can use chat, and there's a mute, unmute button and a video start stop button. We'll keep you muted during the service, so no need to worry about that until later. And if you're on a phone, you should have all the same features. As I mentioned, this is the Church of Infinite Spirit. It is the mission of this church to inspire spiritual freedom by supporting people in knowing themselves as spiritual beings and as part of the consciousness that creates this universe. And we support the joyous transformation that comes from that experience. You'll notice that we're pretty casual, so please relax, make yourself comfortable. Our intention is that our church is a respite from the noise of life, as a space of remembrance of our own spiritual nature and a place of joyful connection. We are non-dogmatic and non-judgmental. There's no control, punishment, or reward energy here. We acknowledge and respect your divine right to create your own reality and manage your energy as you choose. I'm so grateful that you're here with us today, taking a break to remember your spiritual nature and give this gift to yourself. This church offers a take what you can use and leave the rest environment. Our intention is to inspire you to find your own truth rather than convincing you of ours. I hope you will receive whatever works for you and simply let go of anything that doesn't. Let's begin with a short meditation. Meditation is a great way to center ourselves and let go and become present in this moment to what's happening right here, right now. Meditation makes everything easier because it reminds us of our spiritual nature and opens us up to new possibilities. Doing it together is exponentially powerful and creative. It's a case where 2 + 2 equals way more than 4 because the energy expands when more of us are meditating together. Our method of meditation uses a simple, guided 3-step process that employs imagination and intention. If you'd like to join in this meditation, it's helpful to close your eyes and place your feet flat on the floor. So let's begin. If you'd like to join in the meditation, take a nice deep breath for the body. Close your eyes if you haven't already and place your feet flat on the floor if that's comfortable for you. The first step is to ground. To do so, notice your tailbone, that spot at the base of your spine where you'd have a tail if you had one. Choose a color, and it can be whatever color you like other than black or white. And imagine a colored beam of light growing from your tailbone down through the chair, through the floor, down into the earth's crust, all the way through all the layers of lava and rocks through the earth to the center of the earth. This is called a grounding cord, and it serves as a trash chute for energies that are no longer serving us. Imagine those energies you don't want or need anymore, just dropping down through the grounding cord into the center of the earth, where it can be transformed into more useful energy. Just imagine those energies that don't serve you, leaving your space and going down your grounding cord right now. Just let it go. Notice how it feels to be releasing and connected to the earth in this way. The next step is to focus your intention in the center of your head, that spot behind the eyes, between the ears. It's called the sixth chakra, or the third eye, and it's the center of clear vision or clairvoyance. You automatically open your sixth chakra by placing your attention here. And when you focus here, it calms the mind and body and brings you into the present moment. Notice how it feels to be calm and present in this moment. The next step is to pick a color for the outside edge of your aura bubble. The aura bubble is the field or bubble of energy that surrounds our bodies about an arm's length from the body in all directions. It's part of what defines us in our experiences. The aura bubble is energy, and to manage it, pick a color and imagine painting that aura the color you chose, or imagine the outside edge just becoming the color you chose. This could be a different color or the same color as your grounding cord, whatever you like. Make sure you get that color all the way around the bubble, the front, the back, the sides, above your head, and below your feet. Notice the way that it contains your aura bubble and how it feels when the aura bubble is this color. And notice that you can change it anytime you like. So now notice yourself grounded with your attention focused in the center of your head and your aura bubble painted the color you chose, releasing all the energies that no longer serve you, and notice the way you feel in this moment. Now, since we've been releasing all this energy, we're going to replace that energy with a vibration or energy that you'd like more of in your experience. What energy do you want? Just pick one. Could it be joy or amusement, fun, relaxation, or peace? Just pick one energy. And now picture a big gold sun or a ball of golden light right above your head. Make it really big, maybe as big as your aura bubble, sitting right there above your head. And write the word that you chose across the side of the sun. If you chose joy for the experience you want more of, write J-O-Y across the side of that golden sun and watch as the word absorbs into the golden energy within that gold sun and makes the gold sun vibrate at the energy you chose. And when you have that big gold sun sitting above your head, vibrating at that energy that you want more of in your experience, imagine poking a hole in the bottom of it and allowing that energy to flow down into the top of your head, down through your body and out, expanding out to the edges of your aura. Really let that energy soak into your head and neck, your shoulders, and out your arms to your fingertips, into your chest and back, your belly and hips, down through your legs and fingers, down to the tips of your toes, and then just expanding out from your body to the edges of your aura. Notice how that energy feels as it fills up your body and space. Also notice that you can change the way you feel at any time just by bringing in a big gold sun of an energy that you want more of. Take one more moment to notice how it feels in the present moment, grounded by that colored beam of light connecting you to the earth, focused in the center of your head, sitting in the middle of your aura bubble, surrounded by the color you chose, and having brought into your body and energy field the vibration or energy you chose. Take another deep breath. Whenever you're ready, open your eyes and stretch. Notice if you feel different now from when you started. In the paradigm of information that we work with, managing the energies we carry and being present to this moment can make a big difference in our experience. Meditation helps us remember that we have the power to change our energy and shift our focus and experience. Okay, so today I want to talk about being kind to yourself. Now, I realize that for some, coming to church and hearing that you should be kind to yourself is a very different experience than what might have happened when you were young, or even might still be happening in other churches. Some religions talk about fearing God and are worried about their souls going to hell if they don't behave in the right way. This is not the paradigm of this church. Here, we offer the idea that having experiences is how we learn what we want to do, and especially what we don't want to do, and why. So if we do something and we learn we don't want to repeat it, that is very valuable information. Beating yourself up for doing something you're told is wrong or bad is just not something we're going to tell you to do here. Instead, I would suggest that you receive the valuable lesson and make a choice about whether you want to repeat the experience. I know that this might be easier said than done for some of us, but trust me when I say this is a really worthwhile effort to make. Most of us have heard the idea that God is love. When I think about God, I think about what that concept actually means to me. There are many ways to express the concept of God: spirit, the universe, the all one consciousness. And there are lots of other words for this idea that there's some sort of intelligence that's at the heart of things, that there's something bigger than ourselves that created us as unique, magnificent, divine, and yes, what you might call flawed human beings. But that stuff, that divine energy, is also what we are made of. It's what connects us as the all one consciousness, or the universe, the one song with many voices that harmonize together and create the mysterious and beautiful world in which we live. And if God or spirit or the universe is love, which I believe that it is, then what that's saying is that at the basis of this one song is the vibration of love. If we're all one and we're part of that love consciousness that we come from, that created us, then doesn't it make sense that we would feel our best when we are matching or vibrating at the energy of love? And when we say that we love someone, like our partner, family members, or friends, or even ourselves, what does that mean about how we treat them? When someone else does something and they have that valuable experience of learning that they don't want to repeat what they've done, do we berate them or are we usually kind to them? Most of the people I know are kind to the people they love, even when they make what we might call mistakes. But the truth is, most of the people I know are very harsh with themselves when they have the exact same experience. They beat themselves up and berate themselves for making a choice that they then learn they don't want to repeat and why. They tell themselves they should have known better or that they're bad people for having done it. I can relate to this. I was raised this way, as were most of us, in a family and community that modeled this behavior. I didn't know there was another way until well into my adulthood. Undoing this early training isn't always easy, but it yields fantastic rewards. A few years ago, I started a new job, which was incredibly complicated and detail-oriented. I was deep into the training process when I had a conversation with my boss that really embodied this concept. She asked me how it was going, and I said, "It's all right, but I feel like I'm making an awful lot of mistakes." I was feeling kind of lousy about it, and I wondered if I'd ever master the job. But her response was brilliant. She said to me, "That's great. Making mistakes is how you learn. I'm so glad that you're making a lot of mistakes." It wasn't a new concept to me at the time, but it made me laugh and completely busted up that self-reproach I was in the middle of. I've carried that moment with me as I've navigated my life since then, because she showed me in a new way how to have gratitude for those difficult moments instead of beating myself up. So, as is commonly the case when I get ready to write a sermon, I had experience with this topic recently, during which I noticed what I would call my inner critic speaking to me loud and clear. This past year, I was having a challenging winter. Many of the things I'd been doing to cope with the pandemic weren't available to me, and I was really missing the light and warmth of the spring, summer, and fall. I wanted to go outside, to get to the mountains, to hang out in the yard with friends, and generally just feel more free. When all that wasn't available, I started to go a little stir crazy. At times, I felt isolated and sad and frustrated, and I was living in the future a bit, living for the time when the light and warmth would return and we'd get back to some semblance of normalcy after the pandemic is finally at bay. I could see that this was robbing me of my full experience of the present moment, but I had mixed success in shifting this, at least initially. And this was when the inner critic would creep in. I'm a minister, for Pete's sake. I have a zillion tools, and I know how to handle negative energy. I'm perfectly capable of shifting my focus to a more positive way of looking at things. The fact that sometimes I wasn't doing it well enough, my inner critic said, was proof that I didn't know what I thought I knew. So this growth opportunity involved a few different phases. In the first phase, I felt very stuck. Try as I might, I could only shift the isolation, sadness, and frustration for short periods. Then they would return and the inner critic would kick in. I would turn on the TV or eat unhealthy food or just be generally grumpy for a while, which is really not how I am most of the time. And this was when the inner critic would really get started, and I'd hear the criticism of my behaviors and choices in my head, and I felt just awful. Then I'd meditate, shift the energy for a while, and then rinse and repeat. But at a certain point, I noticed that the reason I was grumpy was basically that external conditions weren't what I wanted them to be. I had little acceptance for the dark and cold and the reduced freedom the pandemic brought. And if there ever was anything I have no control over, it's the weather, the seasons, and world events. So I knew that I needed to shift my okayness to focus on what I can control, my internal conditions and my connection to the divine, rather than external factors. This isn't a new concept for me, so of course the inner critic wanted to beat me up over that as well. I should already be focused internally. I realized, though, that the inner critic was part of the cycle. And if I didn't deal with that, I was going to be stuck here until something changed externally. Now, many people would say that the answer is to suppress, ignore, or eliminate the inner critic. After all, it isn't a helpful or positive voice to listen to. But I've spent my life trying to ignore and eliminate it, and all that did was push it underground so that I would still feel bad, but I couldn't really hear what it was telling me or see what it was trying to do for me. So instead, I recognized that my inner critic was developed as a coping mechanism when I was young, that it was, however misguided, an attempt at helping me survive the expectations of perfection that I was raised with. It was modeled by my mother, and indeed pretty much everyone else I knew, and especially women. And I could honor that part of me that was, in the only way she knew how, trying to support me in being my best. I could let her have her voice, thank her for trying to protect me, and then show her ways to protect and support me differently, to give her a new job, so to speak, and then choose what was really best for me. And what's best for me is to be as kind and gentle and compassionate with myself as I can muster. To me, that's how you treat someone you love, with that love energy the universe is made of. So I started doing that. And when I was struggling and the inner critic would start speaking to me, I would remind myself to be loving and kind and gentle, no matter what I'd done or what was happening externally. And surprise, surprise, I started feeling a whole lot better, happier, more myself, and more okay no matter what was happening externally. Today is Easter in the Christian tradition, and the holiday and the story of resurrection and renewal is often used as a metaphor for new beginnings or making a fresh start. So, might this be a good time for a new beginning? A good time to change the way you talk to yourself, to give your inner critic a new job to do? What do you think would happen if you judged yourself less and loved yourself more? If you were kinder and gentler and easier on yourself, is it possible that life would get easier for you? So let's meditate on this and see if we can find out the answers to that. So if you'd like to join this meditation, take a nice deep breath. Close your eyes if you haven't already. Place your feet flat on the floor if it's comfortable. Let's check in with that grounding cord we created earlier. Is it still there? If it is, just imagine dropping it from your tailbone. Release it from there and watch as it drops into the center of the earth and gets absorbed there. And then let's replace it with a new grounding cord. This new grounding cord can be any color you choose, could be the same color or a different color than you chose before. And just imagine that colored beam of light growing from the tailbone down through the chair, down through the floor, into the earth's crust, down through all the layers of the earth, and into the earth's center. And watch as it starts to release any energies that are no longer useful. So let's begin by imagining a picture of your inner critic. What do they look like? They might look a bit like you, or maybe even exactly like you, or not. It could look completely different from you. Say hello to this inner critic. Thank them for all they've done for you in the past to protect you and support you. But tell them that you'll be needing something different from them now. And you're going to update their job description. First, though, you're going to remove all that energy of self-criticism, self-doubt, and self-judgment that this inner critic has offered you over the years. So let's notice, where in your body and energy field have you internalized all that self-judgment, self-doubt, and criticism? Where do you carry it? Is it in your belly, your spine or shoulders, out in front of your throat, above your head? Wherever that is, just notice it. Just hang out with it for a moment. Now, imagine a bubble about an arm's length out in front of you. Looks kind of like a soap bubble, like a clear bubble. And this will act as a container for you to release all that negative energy into. Watch as you begin to let these energies go into the bubble. All that self-criticism, self-doubt, and self-judgment can go right into that bubble. You might know exactly what those energies are, or maybe some of them just feel like tension in your body. You can let this go too. Just let it all go. Whatever you notice, just let it go into the bubble. Take your time, and if the bubble gets full, you can create as many new bubbles as you need to hold all the energy of those difficult feelings you're releasing. What a relief it is to let all that self-criticism go. There's no need to hang on to it any longer. And when you're done, you can watch as the bubble or bubbles float away, out of your space, up and away like helium balloons on a clear day. And when they're so far away you can barely see them anymore, notice them pop, and the energy inside them disperses, never to return to you. Now, let's communicate the new job description to your inner critic. You could say to your inner critic something like, the old job of inner critic is obsolete and is complete as of today, April 4th, 2021. Your new job is to remind me that whenever I make a mistake or do something I don't want to repeat, to have compassion for myself, be gentle and kind, and love myself, and celebrate the lesson I've learned. Take a moment to communicate this to your inner critic. And think about whether you want to give this part of you a new job title too. Instead of inner critic, it could be called something like inner champion or self-advocate, or whatever words sound best to you. And now that you've given your inner critic a new job title and description, and released all that self-judgment, self-doubt, and self-criticism, let's replace those energies you've released with the vibration of self-love. To do so, would you picture a big, bright, golden ball of light or gold sun above your head? Make it nice and big and bright, maybe as big as the field of energy that surrounds your body. When you can see that big gold sun above your head, write the words self-love right across the side of it. SELFLOVE. And watch as those words absorb into the gold sun and make the gold sun vibrate at the energy of self-love. Then imagine reaching up and poking a hole in the bottom of the gold sun and allowing all that gold energy of self-love to flow down into the top of your head, down through your body, and expanding out to fill your aura with the energy of self-love. Really soak in that self-love into your head, your neck and shoulders, your back and chest, your belly and hips. Watch as it flows down your arms to your fingertips and down your legs to your toe tips. And then watch as that energy expands out from the body, out to the very edges of your aura bubble, and soaking it in throughout that field of energy surrounding your body. Notice the feeling of self-love flowing in this moment in all of your cells and throughout your aura. And notice that you can bring yourself back here anytime you want, just by meditating. Whenever you're ready, take another nice big deep breath. Open your eyes and stretch. And notice if you feel different from the way you felt before we started the meditation, and how easy it is to change your experience. Okay, so normally this is the time in the service where we pass a basket and ask for contributions to the Church of Infinite Spirit. Since we can't pass a basket right now, a physical basket anyway, we are accepting donations with deep gratitude through the website at innerconnection.org under the sanctuary menu. That's INNER connection.org. And please consider supporting the church if that feels right in your heart. We do ask that you contribute only what feels good to you from a place of joy and appreciation and never out of a sense of obligation. We are a nonprofit and your donations are tax deductible. Please know that your contributions do make a difference by helping with the website and other things that make this space possible. And we trust that the totality of your contributions will return to each of you many, many fold. So I have a few announcements. First of all, we have a little social time on this Zoom after we close the service, like we would have after our in-person services. So please stay on and join us for that if you'd like to. Also, we have our monthly virtual meditation gathering coming up at noon on Friday, April 16th. That's April 16th at noon, which is also offered by Zoom. And you can find the link on the website under the sanctuary menu as well. And if you want to get reminders, you can sign up to receive sanctuary updates there as well. Also, there is the Graduate Spiritual Journey, which is a monthly class that Lauren teaches for people who have completed clairvoyance training. And that will be starting this Saturday, April 10th, and it runs for 6 months. And if you want to continue your spiritual journey, I highly recommend this class. It's fabulous. And of course, if you're new to this church and are interested in learning the tools we teach, there is a free class called Meditation for Living, and it's available on the website under classes. And again, that website is innerconnection.org. That's INNER connection.org. Lauren, is there anything else you want to say or announce?
Nope, you got it, Jamie. Thank you.
Okay. So as we release this time we've spent together and move into the next part of our day, I sincerely thank you for being here and for the gift of your time and attention, two of your most valuable resources. I will leave you with this poem called A Love Note to My Body. I'm sorry, I don't know who wrote it, but I like it because it goes against the idea of bodies needing to look a certain way to be appreciated. So here it is, A Love Note to My Body. First of all, I want to say thank you for the heart you kept beating, even when it was broken. For every answer you gave me in my gut, for loving me back, even when I didn't know how to love you, for every time you recovered when I pushed you past our limits, for today, for waking up. So I invite you to put your inner critic to work at its new job today, the job of loving yourself and being as kind and gentle and compassionate with yourself as you possibly can in every moment. Thanks so much for being here today. And now we are going to stop the recording. Lauren is going